Mike Jopek.
Boy, it's nice out there. Leaves are turning yellow.
Steve Quinnell.
Cubs win.
Ryan Hennon.
Go Vikes, go.
And your host, Ed Doctor.
You know, I was golfing today, and I kind of liken my golf game to the way Charlie Kirk explains black women. I just don't have the mental capacity for it. I don't.
Yeah,
I
you really don't.
I'm really bad.
I second that.
Yeah. We got a special guest today, Bill Lombardi out of Helena, longtime Montanan, author, legislator, and you were a secretary of the Senate too, weren't you?
Yeah, I wasn't a legislator. I was a secretary of
Secretary
the
of
Senate. John Tester was Senate president. So, yeah, and I think Mike, you were there, weren't you? That in 2005.
2007, I think that's when I met you. Yep.
Yeah.
Over at the firehouse, playing cribbage, beating John Tester at cribbage. Those were the days.
You were flying Marcos around too. Was somebody flying him around in a plane, Marcos?
Whoa.
How does a guy get to be the secretary of something? Just wondering.
Well,
You got to be cute for one.
Right, that helps.
One night, John Tester, the Democrats won the majority in 2004 in the Senate, and they had a tie in the House. So John gets the majority. They get to pick the Senate president. He was elected president. Then the secretary basically is like the chief of staff for all of staff people that work for the Senate. You get to hire about 25 people, which was fun to do for 5 months. And you run the Senate and run all the legislation. So you're basically running the day-to-day operation for the Senate president. And that's what John was in 2005. And that's when Brian was just elected. He was elected in 2004. And he became governor January 1st or 2nd that year. So we worked with Brian Schweitzer as well at the same time. So
You better be
he was brand new
careful.
governor.
We might shed some tears remembering those days if you talk too much more.
Those were the days.
Back when we used to win races.
Yeah. When we used to win, and well, at least act like we cared about winning the races anyway.
When Brian took.
Bill, I got something real quick for you because obviously the news cycle's just so fucking insane anymore. It's just too much. It is, but you know, as a writer, an author, journalist guy, I just want to get your take, and I'm sure you watched the whatever the fuck you want to call it with Trump and Hegseth the other day in front of the generals.
It was a pep rally.
Pep rally.
No cheerleaders, though.
Not a lot of pep.
I just want to know, how, and you don't really have to answer in a way that, I'm not going to want you to incriminate yourself, I guess, but how would you cover something like that? I mean, didn't it just seem so fucking bizarre and like a little North Korea? How would you cover that?
I think Trump was jealous that Hegseth was calling them all there, and then Trump decided to Trump Hegseth, and he went over there and gave it, an hour-long speech that was just a political speech. And these generals, they don't clap for anything. They're like the Supreme Court justices, at the State of the Union, they don't clap. So they just sat there. The silence was golden. That was the best part of the whole thing. That was the beauty of the whole thing.
It was.
Nobody was clapping, so I hated that.
I know. I wanted somebody to make a funny video where somebody came through and said, awkward.
Yeah. He was as unnerved as when his youngest son tried to get him a hug.
That was the most bizarre thing I've I couldn't watch much. It was cringeworthy. So
cringeworthy. That's a good. That's good. But I mean, like I can't imagine.
Generally, what the hell's
They were all thinking, what the hell are we doing here?
This guy telling us all these 4-star generals and admirals, and it's like, what the hell are we doing here?
I mean, he says, by my direct order. Like, does he watch too much Star Wars? I mean, who says that kind of shit, other than like an imperial commander, I'm assuming.
Right. Engage.
Engage. And no more beardos and no fat people. He goes, this isn't who we are. And I'm like, this is exactly who we are. We're the fucking most obese country in the world.
Right.
Have you ever looked at some of the Civil War generals?
It's, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's the reality TV it's better than fiction. So
it's not funny anymore, though. I mean, when we're talking about the military, when we're talking about Trump trying to saying outright that there's an enemy within, we are going straight back to 1933, 1935, 1938. The enemy, there is no enemy within this country. that needs the military to be on the prowl trying to wipe them out.
But again, this is to him and to his cabinet and to these Republicans, oh, he's joking. Oh, this is a joke. Oh, he's funny, right?
No.
And
Here's a real life story from today. I got a call from a national reporter, and he's doing a story, and he said, "Don't send me text, use Signal or call me." Really? I mean, that's how they feel these days. They're afraid they're being monitored 24/7. He said, "Don't text me. Use Signal, the Signal app, or call me directly to give me information."
Christ.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Signal because one of my main takeaways from Hegseth's pep rally was I found it very ironic. Him lecturing these 800 generals who would likely die in prison for treason had they sent leaked war plans to the public via Signal.
Right.
So no wonder they weren't clapping.
I mean, we were talking about. Like, he's a DEI hire. The whole administration's DEI, but they make DEI sound bad, just like everything they do. Everything that they say the Democrats are doing, they're, this and that, they're doing it. And somehow not the majority of people, I want to assume, just believe them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, he said, the Ivy leaders won't understand us.
Trump does is made for TV. It's all a show. And it doesn't matter whether it's true or false. It's all made for TV. He's brilliant at it.
Correct.
I tell people he's not brilliant, but he commands literally, the news cycle and TV. The camera eats him up.
100%.
So until we get somebody better than him, a better showman, then Democrats are SOL.
Well, I think we need that Tonight Show opening, like you were talking
right,
about.
Yeah.
Get him on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, get him interested in that.
Oh,
job.
he would love that. He'd love that.
Yeah, he's got to do something different,
But like you were saying, Ed, you got Pete Hegseth, who he said at this speech, he said, the Ivy League will not understand us. Right. The media will mischaracterize us. And this is coming from a guy who has 2 degrees from the Ivy League, one from Princeton, one from Harvard, and was, until very recently, a member of the media.
Yeah. And you could say he kind of still is, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. But all of this distraction and, think about your years of covering politics and even the Montana politics, because I see it spilling over. Your last article we all thought was brilliant. We're going to go over that because, when you say the Democrats don't have a farm system, to me, that stood out. It stood out big time. And is it because of this Trump shit? These Republicans throwing so much shit out there that how the fuck do you catch up? How do you even focus on a candidate when you're focusing on how to save your ass? That you're not, I mean, all these Democrats countrywide are getting persecuted for being very evil, bad people. I mean, and, I don't know if the media, is the media afraid now because they've been called so liberal that they're not standing up for anything? It's weird, right?
Politics and the media has changed a ton. I wrote a story. I was looking at some old clips years ago when I was the bureau chief for the Lee Newspaper State Bureau. I wrote a story about how fax machines were going to change politics. Literally, that was hilarious. In 1992, fax machines are coming. Look out!
The technology's still the same today.
Look at it now. It's instantaneous. So you have to command the news cycle. You have to know what's new. You just have to be good at it. They're better than we are at delivering message and through institutional channels, to podcasts, you name it. So what you guys are doing is great. We need to get out there and spread our message too.
Yeah. I have an 81-year-old dad who used to read the newspaper religiously every day, and I was at his house this summer. And I was there during the U.S. Open, and it always ends on Father's Day, and we're sitting there on Sunday on Father's Day watching the U.S. Open, and he's on his phone. I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing, Dad?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just reading the news." And so I looked over his shoulder, and I looked at what he was reading as news.
Don't say it.
And it's not news. No. I mean, it's
Facebook.
that is the problem, and that's the problem for most elderly people. The people on the east side of Montana, the rural people, that's where they get all their news coverage now, and they just believe what they see because it comes to them, just like the newspaper used to get delivered for 1 cent a day. and they would believe what was in there. But the difference is that there are journalists actually writing those stories, people who know how to do research and write a factual story, versus stuff like this. And I mentioned this, and you guys laughed at me when I said, "This is not a news. This is not news. This is entertainment. This podcast is about entertainment. It's not news. We talk about things.
People take it as news, and they take podcasts. They get news anywhere. I mean, and what I've told Democrats over the years and candidates that I've advised is like, you have to be your own news source. Print your own newspaper, essentially. And that's the great thing about the internet, is you can get your message out there without an intermediary, a middle person now saying, well, we're not going to run this. Yeah. So you just have to be much more aggressive about getting your message out there and put your own message out. Yeah, but Democrats still think the legacy media is still it's valuable, but it's the whole way people receive information now has totally changed.
Right.
So totally changed.
Right. The day, Robert
Democrats have not caught up with that idea yet.
So is that why, like, Rico and Lombardi and Plattner, they're kind of punching through because they figured that out?
I think so.
It seems like, and Gavin Newsom's getting some traction. I think that the podcast is a big deal. I mean, because
specifically this one.
Well, of course, this one. Yes. Yeah. We don't want to brag.
10,000 followers.
We have 30,000 followers.
30,000.
On 4 platforms. Yeah, that's not bad. And we think that during the convention, people are just like, who the fuck are those guys? So they were asking other people. Then they found out, and they knew. And that's where I think we got.
And that's when they got pissed.
That's when they got pissed. We better follow this and give them negative comments. But the truth is, there's no doubt in my mind that when we came up with this, and a lot of it was an idea brought to me by somebody else, but I want to help the Democrats. I really do. I really despise what the Republicans stand for anymore. And as a business owner, and, I'm conservative in many ways, but I'm definitely liberal in many ways. I just believe in live and let live kind of thing. And that's gone now. And that's where I feel Democrats need all the help they can get. Now, if they want it, I don't know. And we're not obviously working for them. If we were, we'd probably sound a little differently more often than not.
Steve would have blue hair.
But, yeah, for sure. So, you wrote some pretty, I thought, really, good thoughts in that article after the convention. But I can also see where some Democrats don't like that. And I don't know if it's they don't like being I know nobody likes being told what to do, and everybody thinks they got it. Do you see anything in this Democratic Party where they're willing to accept help from anywhere because they fucking need it?
Yeah, and that's what I was struck by even going to the convention was Shannon O'Brien, who won the chair. Mike raised her hand in unity, and then the vice chair went out and just said a whole bunch of this quote, old guard.
Yeah.
We don't like you. So it's like that is disunity. That's 180 degrees opposite. You need to be doing addition, not subtraction in the Democratic Party. So basically, he shit all over a lot of Democrats' heads, and they got pissed off. Yeah. He said, what you've done in the past is not good. And this guy has lived here for 2 years, came from Miami. He worked for Republican U.S. Senator Mel Martinez, who became the chair of the Republican National Committee. Nobody knew who he was, and he didn't say any of this publicly until he went out and talked to the press. And that's why people were pissed off. It's like, who is this guy? And he's talking about rural Montana. He's from Miami, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, how does that get in?
But Democrats have to win more voters, especially in rural areas. I sent my piece to some political scientists in the state just to sound check it. They said, right on. Democrats are only strong in Missoula, Bozeman, these urban areas, Helena. They're losing ground in Butte, Anaconda, the traditional Democratic strongholds. Their analysis from 2024 shows. So they have to win more voters, and they've got to go to rural areas and win where they used to have friends in the labor unions and the Democrat-Farmer Alliance. That's gone. So the only places where they have one person from Havre, Paul Tess, who's a legislator, good guy from Havre. But the only other places where they do have people from rural areas are Indian reservations. So They have lost seats in rural Montana and lost by a larger margin there. So Trumpism is really kicking the Democrats' ass in rural areas.
And we're following the national trend. This is a national
Yes,
trend. It took a long time for it to hit to Montana, but everything takes a long time to hit Montana.
True.
It just does. We're 10 years behind, you know. Yeah. But we do talk quite often about the Republicans have had this 40, 50-year plan, and it's worked really well. And they do not stray from it. They keep taking rural votes, and that's how it is. And, you know, I don't know. In your opinion, did the Democrats just give up on going statewide, or the resources are so strapped that they couldn't go statewide? What is it?
Well, they've lost by larger margins in these rural areas, in these rural counties where they used to lose by maybe 60-40. Now it's 70-30. So you can't make that up by enough votes in the urban areas. And we've won but lost by, in the last two statewide elections, statewide candidates have lost by at least margins of 15 to 20 percentage points, which is huge. So we're losing ground, we're not gaining ground. And this one political scientist who wrote back to me last night said, that's what happened in Idaho. That's what happened in all these other Western states that had more progressive Democrats over the years. Cecil Anderson, Idaho. We used to have, in 5 Western states, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana, we have 5 U.S. Democratic senators and 5 U.S. Republican senators. Now Tester's gone. I don't think we have any Democratic senators in those 5 states anymore.
No, we don't.
So we've lost it all in the rural areas.
Yep, no way.
We're losing ground.
Yeah, so the U.S. Senate doesn't have rural Democrats in it either.
Yeah, right.
No,
right.
And so you got these
Pretty much.
urban Democrats who are, doing this kind of negotiation with.
Boy, it's a good thing there's not a farm crisis going on.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, is it because nobody's out there knocking on their
it's
doors?
One of the worst farm crises we've had since the 80s.
Yep.
So it's a bad time for agriculture with tariffs, with prices for commodities. So it's a tough time, and North Dakota, South Dakota used to have Ken Conrad, Tom Daschle, et cetera.
Right.
No more. All gone.
Yeah, Heidi Heitkamp.
Heidi Heitkamp.
Is it because nobody's out there talking to them about, hey, things aren't going so well for you? Do you think that,
or do they care? Do they just vote on ideology?
And it's hard because it's hard to break out of the phone news cycle. It's hard to break away from that.
To quote Brian Schweitzer, you have to listen to people. You have to listen. And I was reading another article recently, and people want to be able to trust you. So my 3 rules of politics. The first rule is show up. The second rule is go where you're not invited. And Democrats have to go to rural areas and listen to rural voters. And third, somebody beats nobody. So, but showing up and going where you're not invited are the top 2 rules of politics. And you got to get out there and do the hard. It's hard to do, but you got to do it. You got to go listen to them and talk to them and listen to their concerns. And the kitchen table issues are still always the top issues that people care about. Inflation, cost of living, housing. You guys know housing affordability is huge in Montana and Whitefish, Bozeman, Missoula, et cetera. So those kinds of kitchen table issues are still the dominant issues.
Did people not get out enough?
Politics.
Did people not get out enough in rural areas with Tester, or was it just the Trump effect that put the
the Trump effect,
in office?
I don't know how John ran the last campaign, but the world had changed since he got elected back in 2006 when I was helping him his first campaign. It's changed a lot, and Montana's changed a lot. So I don't know what all the dynamics are, but we've lost ground in rural areas. People are voting more the party rather than the person nationally and in the state. And thirdly, education drives whether you're a Democrat or Republican. College educated folks are more likely to vote for Democrats. And so that's why you see more people voting for Trump. And so education's a big predictor of.
Yeah, and then the Biden-Harris shit show certainly didn't help.
Yeah, that did not help at all. Can't forget to mention that.
We were sitting there watching the
James
debate,
Comey,
my wife and I, and Brian, and Schweitzer, and Nancy. We just couldn't believe it. And ad maker friend of mine said, Biden has to get out now or Chester's going to lose. That night, it's just like bad.
Wow.
Bad.
I know, completely obvious shit,
It
but
was, yeah.
but whatever. What do you think? Okay, so I know we all hung out at the 49er diner. I want to put a plug in for the 49er. My girlfriend's grandparents used to own it. I mean, a lot of people used to own it. But anyway, we were all hanging out with Russell. Real quick, your opinion on Russ? Do you think he's got what it takes?
Yeah.
Or was it too late at that point?
Brian Schweitzer just about 2 weeks ago. Seems like a good guy. I've been keeping an eye on him. I think he's going around the district. There's another guy that's supposed to get in the race, Matt Raines from Sims over on the eastern side. He doesn't live in the district, but he's talking about getting into the race.
I don't understand why that's not a law.
We did like chatting with Russ Cleveland. He seems to get it. He's a business person. He's got some ag roots down in the Bitterroot and in western Montana. A smart guy. Seems to have it together. So I think he's got it. He's got a shot.
Maybe don't say he's a smart guy because we want MAGA to vote for him.
We don't want, nobody's
MAGA
smart.
Right.
It's like when I ran for county commissioner, I wasn't allowed to say
Street smart.
smart growth because that was way too woke. So I had to say we need
it's a woke word.
responsible growth.
So
I had to
Bill-
come up with other adjectives.
Bill, I got a question for you. Ed had mentioned that Democrats spend so much time, defending against Republican attacks and calling out how crazy they are. And you had mentioned that this is all appearing just to become reality TV and the theater is the only thing that's left. Hegseth said the other day, he said, as history teaches us, the only people who actually deserve peace are those who are willing to wage war.
Yes, that's right.
I talked to Steve a lot on this show about, random things I remember reading in high school. And one of them, last week we talked about Upton Sinclair. And that reminds me of a little book by George Orwell called 1984, where it said, Big Brother said, war is peace.
This is 2025.
So do you think these people are beyond parody at this point?
Yeah. I mean, it is great. It's great theater, great parody. I mean, but even Reagan.
It's going to be a Broadway musical.
Through strength and trust but verify. I mean, I think even Trump understands how costly war is, in blood and treasure. It's so damn costly. We saw that with not only Vietnam, but
that's why he's ended 7 wars during his term, right?
Yeah, I think he understands that.
I
think he understands it, and I think it's just like, why go to war when you can avoid it?
Right.
I think Hegseth he's just trying to look and act tough. He's talking about push-ups and sit-ups and whatever, doing the president's physical fitness test and all that kind of crap.
So fucking weird. So fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, most people. Yeah, I don't think that he's just making stuff up. I think.
Yeah.
So.
Let's back a little bit about Montana and Democrats real quick, because you and Mike have been longtime Democrats around here and stuff, and in your article you wrote a little bit about the fundraising issue and problem, and how I was talking to Pat Noonan, the old vice chair, the other day, and he's just like, we don't have money, and I'm like, man, and everybody I ever talked to for the last 20 years in the party, we don't have money, and I look at guys like Held was at the convention. That guy's got a lot of money. I mean, I saw a lot of people with a lot of fucking money at that convention. There were some very wealthy people. Now, I mean, are they just not going to donate to a loser? Is there not I mean, I hate to say it that way, but, a lot of people don't want to support a loser or somebody that's deemed to lose. In your opinion, and Mike, I want you to talk too, in your opinion, what is wrong with fundraising and why can't we generate? I mean, shit's fucking bad right now. I mean, it's bad for MAGA. It's bad for liberals. It's bad for everybody. Hamburger meat today, $6.88 a pound. Okay, I bring it up every show. That's fucking brutal. But anyway, let's talk a little bit, and Bill, we'll start with you about this. What's your opinion? Where's the lack of fundraising coming from? What can they do, if anything?
I just talked to a national fundraiser in D.C.
Did you get some money?
Yeah.
He's saying people are starting to cut the money off. They're worried about the economy. I mean, these are people with money that he normally goes to, and he's worked on national political races, and so and then we don't have any statewide candidates. We used to have Max Baucus, who was chair of the finance committee, and he could bring in a lot. He could bring in a lot of money and help bankroll the Democratic Party for years. You had Brian Schweitzer, who was the head of the Democratic Governors Association, Bullock.
Right.
You had Tester, who was the head of the DSCC, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. They could raise money for Montana, but now we have no one. And then when you go and piss John Tester off and says, you know, I'm not going to help the Democratic Party if they're going to just piss all over me, it makes it even harder. It makes it much harder to raise money. And if you don't have statewide candidates that show promise, national funders, it's going to be hard to get national funders in here to raise money. So Pat's correct. I mean, it's going to be really, really tough.
Well, we've still got.
What do you think, Mike? I mean, you know, that's where we support you for the chair because I think you got ideas. I know you've got some ideas, but is that it? It just takes like a face. It takes it takes somebody people like.
Well, it takes somebody who's going to ask. I mean, the reason people give money is because you ask them for money. Yeah. And
you're always asking for money.
Sending me 12 emails asking me for $10, $15. I'm just deleting all those emails. I mean, the way we used to ask for money is we used to call people up, and you'd be on the phone all bloody day long, and it was just awful. But you got into this groove, and you would call people up, and you'd have people who work with you and say, hey, look, I got Dan Weinberg on the phone right now. Yeah. He's good for $350. Let's hit him up for $350, and you just got to work it.
It's easier to text. It's robo-text now, I guess.
But the email stuff, everyone's deleting those. And I think Bill's right that the national money is drying up, and for a variety of reasons that we're going to have to find homegrown money. And the only way to get it is to ask people for it. And sending me an email is not going to work.
It's not going to work, no.
And one of the things, Ed, is that you're getting a lot of these billionaires who want to send money to the state to do what they want to do, and they have these so-called donor advisors who tell them where to put their money. There's one here in Missoula I just talked to recently for the article, but wouldn't even talk to me off the record because they didn't want to talk. But they're somewhat secretive about it, but they do direct how they want their money. But if they don't see promise, they're not gonna donate. And
so it's kind of like venture capital almost.
Like Mr. Schweitzer, by saying you're the old guard, people are going to call Brian. People are going to call John, who on the national level say, "Should I give money to this group?" And if John's pissed off at the party or parts of the party, then it's going to be harder for him to say, "Yes, you should give to these folks." So that wasn't a smart move on Max Johansson's part.
No. What's he? So they kicked him off the vice chair. He's still a legislator, obviously, and he still can probably run again. But okay, is the guy a plant? How the fuck did he get there? That's what I heard. That was the word I heard.
I don't know.
He can't be a plant. That's impossible.
Funding is going to be the huge issue. I mean, you see it in Wyoming for Democrats. You see it in Idaho for Democrats. You see fewer and fewer Democrats, and it's hard to attract any kind of money if you don't have any kind of base that's energetic and shows promise and shows good, strong candidates. Look, where's our bench to run against Steve Daines? Where's the bench? Do you see strong candidates jumping up and down to run against Steve Daines?
Well, and rural Montanans can't identify with a guy like Max. I mean, they look at that guy and they're like, that's everything that we hate about the party.
They identify with she. The motherfucker wears fancy pants, diamonds on his pockets, shit. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up. He looks like a cheese dick rich kid that drove a fucking Camaro, and
got an R behind his name. He's got an R behind his name.
Yeah,
and he was a veteran. He's a veteran.
That's my whole theory about Montana anymore. When I used to think authenticity drove politics, and people love the authentic politician, like a farmer like John O'Brien. Max Baucus has had some Aggie roots too. They love that. But now you look at Yellowstone and the Yellowstone effect. They like the guys that look like cowboys and cowgirls. You don't have to. They love the play act. They love that more than the authenticity.
It's so fucking
So it's really turned. It's on its head.
It is so different. It is, and it only took less than a decade. This whole fucking state,
quick.
I mean,
My friend works at Paul's Up.
Wow, now
that's great.
Does
ads. the cows, they take people on cattle drives, and the cows know exactly where to turn for the tourists that come there.
Those cows do?
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny.
Can we turn now?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio's been there, I heard. That's fucking weird
Really?
stuff.
Ooh, I might have to go.
They got their own terminal now at the airport in Missoula.
I heard
they're building
it.
Or they're building it. That is insane stuff, man. I mean,
why don't they just build a fucking airstrip out there? They got plenty of land, don't they?
So the Democrats basically need to find somebody, like maybe hire Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or something to be a fundraiser. Like, I don't know who, but it seems to be that is a big problem. It's going to be a big problem.
It's very interesting, and it's how I know for a fact that Antifa is not an actual organization, because I've never gotten an email from them asking me for money. That's how I know. Because every other organization somehow sends me an email asking me for money, except for Antifa.
You're right. Just like you also say.
Really, I didn't send you an email that I got from them?
Yeah.
You make there's ways to know. It's like, okay, if there's an Antifa, why isn't somebody from Fox infiltrating, finding it out, then exposing it? Yeah, whatever.
So, Bill, how do we get a guy like Jesse Laslovich to run for office in Montana?
Dude, Jesse's great, man. Oh, he's going to be pissed.
I know Jesse well. I know his cousins, Dylan Laslovich. His cousin was the chief of staff for John Tester. Chris Laslovich, good friend of mine, worked in Democratic politics, musician, great guy. So I know Jesse well. He ran for AG and he ran for Montana State Auditor, but lost. But he is a good candidate. Jesse's a smart guy. He was a U.S. attorney under Biden. So, and I know he's I don't know if he's interested again in running statewide, but Jesse's a good candidate.
I think he'd be great.
So, good guy. And I love the Mo Club in Missoula. I don't know if the Lazoviches still own that. I think he sold that place, but that's one of my favorite bars in the state.
Yeah.
No, he's a pretty cool dude. He's a really he seems like he's again smart, and did he tell you how he knew he got fired when Trump won? He said he went to the bathroom and he couldn't use the key code to get into the bathroom while he was at the office.
Yeah.
That's fucking rude, dude. No, nothing. They got nothing. Like everybody else when they get fired from somebody else, it's a respectful deal.
Sure.
Not this time.
Jesse had to go down to Trump. He had to go down to the town pump to take a leak.
Right. Lucky Lils.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, I do have one small piece of criticism for you. In your article, you had a picture of an elephant, and then you titled the section "The Elephant in the Room," but I think it should have been titled "If You Can't Beat 'Em, Join 'Em," because that whole section talks about how we should be supporting how the Democratic Party is now supporting moderate Democrats because moderate Republicans, so that they can get somebody who might vote with them on one or two issues. Would you talk about that a little bit? Because I'm still kind of in shock that's how our party.
Well, that's what
is trying to.
WTF 406 is against.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that is happening, and I did talk to some folks about that for this article and off the record essentially. But I know I've been talking to a lot of sources about that issue, and they've got they are working with some moderate Republicans apparently to do that thing. And a lot of Democrats, and I've made the argument to some of these people to say, the money that you are giving to them, it's an basic economic opportunity cost. You're spending money to elect more Republicans instead of putting money in the Democratic message and a Democratic candidate that will force Republicans to spend money in a district where now they would elect a Republican.
So they are actually channeling money.
In the foot doing that. So
they are actually channeling funds to
happening.
These Republicans. The money is flowing to these Republicans that would otherwise go to Democrats.
I mean, I haven't seen it on paper, but apparently that's what the strategy is to elect moderate Republicans in districts that they don't think Democrats can win, in very strong Republican legislative districts.
Mike, do you have any thoughts on that?
I'd prefer they support moderate Democrats, but
yeah, they'd be smarter than liberal Democrats.
The party's moved on, old man. Yeah.
Yeah, old man. Go back to Green Acres, Petticoat Junction.
Should we ever just admit defeat and be like, okay, fuck it? let's just go home, let them run the state, we'll do our thing.
And that's one of the points that Brian Schweitzer makes a lot, and he grew up in Geyser and knows rural Montana well, and Tester does too. It's just like you've got to compete everywhere, or you're ceding that territory, and they don't have to spend resources in those districts, and they can spend them in districts and beat Democrats.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's exactly like, I get it. And they spend money on functions and parties and things. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't really get that part, because you're doing it for the people that are going to vote for you no matter what. I mean, that is kind of how it is.
And I think that's, I think that's also being driven by money they're getting from donors too, to say, well, this is the way we're going to do it.
Right.
And some of their union members possibly too, which have become, unions have shifted rightward with Trump and the rest of the country and in Montana. So AFL-CIO has a former Republican state senator who is now the executive secretary of the AFL-CIO, Jason Small.
Yeah.
Who was
he's not so small.
No, Jason's a big guy. He's actually good. I like Jay. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy, man. I've gotten to hang out with him a couple times. He's super
You just
fun.
said something that we haven't really talked about here, and that is, this 56 county strategy that Mike was pushing at the national or at the state convention. Is one of the effects of it is that if we can get somebody to run in every state, and we can get a qualified candidate in every county, then we can force them to spend money that they wouldn't otherwise spend in the cities to take away votes from the areas where they know that they are facing an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe that. Mike, do you want to talk about that?
It gets the other thing it does is it gets Democratic message out there and shows you that you have some energy and message out there too. And the only way you're going to build support is by spreading that message, the gospel, essentially.
Don't say the word gospel. That automatically sends the hair on Ed's neck standing straight up.
He likes Tallarico.
He'll start hissing.
I love Tallarico. He's a great guy. Yeah. And about Tallarico, real quick before we got to let you go, Russell Cleveland's saying he's not taking any dark money, and the word on the street is he's been told you're a fool because you're going to have to take it, because when you do, Zinke will call you out for it. This and that, and. I really respect Russ for it. I don't know what kind of a chance he has, but I mean, can he do it without dark money?
Well,
like somebody's being like, "Hey, it's dinner time."
Brian actually talked to him about that.
Brian did.
He didn't take PAC money, and it's a tough thing to do.
Which is dark money.
At least you could say, "I'm not taking PAC money, and I'm not influenced by PACs." Because ultimately they want something from you.
Yeah.
So that's a cost benefit analysis. You just have to raise a lot more money from a lot more people.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if he has it.
It can be part of your message too. Is I'm not owned by anybody but me.
Mm-hmm. Kevin's got something.
Bill, my dad was on the railroad forever, and he was big into the union, and he worked with Fran Marceau a lot. And
I know Fran well.
And I've got to know Fran through. It's funny. I've never actually seen him in my life. I've talked to him on the phone 5 million times though when he's calling to bitch with my dad. But I was talking to him the other day, or my dad was, and he was talking about how he can't call the Democratic Party anymore at all because there's no one to answer the phone. Yeah. He said 15 years ago he could call anybody anytime and get a hold of them like that. Do you think that's something that that Shannon might be able to get going, or Mike can help get going? Is that just lost, and we're just going to email the rest of our lives?
No, I think they need to. I would call the executive director, and he wouldn't call me back, and then I would have to call somebody else to tell him, could you have him call me? And I'd keep calling him and texting him.
That's so frustrating.
But, no, that is a problem that I've heard, that there's no one in the office. So not responding is a big no-no. And when I work for senators and constituent, they're the customer. We're the customer, and if you're not responding to the customer, people are going to get pissed off and say, "I'll go somewhere else." So if they don't do that,
are the Republicans answering the phone though?
Very simple.
Republicans probably do answer the phone.
I bet they don't. Like this whole rural thing. How much time do you think he spent talking to rural Montanans?
No, he didn't have to.
Zero. He didn't have to, right? And that's
And
the problem.
I always tell people, can you hold on? I got to take this potential spam call. Hold on for a second.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Well, I called Sheehy's office today, and they said he was in a very important meeting. So
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
It was
and those guys.
whether he should wear the
none
blue
of the
jeans
Republican congressional delegation ever had. They don't have a town hall. They never tell you where they are.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. When was the last time Zinke?
When I first came to Montana, I was a journalist here. I was amazed at how accessible all the politicians were, even the governor. It was I could get the senators on the phone very easily, and they would respond to you. Now they don't respond. They don't respond. They just have spokespeople doing all that, if they do at all.
Well, it's weird. Even the RNC chair, Don Kay, when we wanted to interview him, we needed to talk to his handler or something.
Right.
Like, what the fuck, dude? You're a car salesman. Oh my God.
I know.
You know. But whatever,
If you want to talk to me, you have to talk to my snake handler. So
Yeah.
Well, it looked like somebody's calling you to dinner. We don't want to keep it too long.
Thank you. Next time I want to come up there and have a beer with you guys.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. Probably 10 of them.
And my son-in-law wants to. He loves. You have to talk to him about sports. He's a sports podcaster.
We can do that.
Oh, I love it.
We'll
We'll
get him
definitely
on
do
for
that.
sure.
We'll get his info and get him on.
Actually,
for
we'll
sure.
get him on here. Yep, we'll talk. We got to have a
He's
sports
great,
episode coming
great
up.
young guy. So, great to be on with you guys. And then you guys can always buy me IPAs. So.
All
Will
right.
do.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Appreciate it,
Take care.
Bill Lombardi. Helena,
Appreciate it, Bill.
Montana.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot of fun, man. He's a guy with a lot of knowledge, you know? I mean, I think it's fun to get somebody like that to be like,
Longtime
share your
journalists
knowledge
know
with-
where all of the bodies are buried.
I mean,
they 100% do.
I mean,
They know where every
he
single
knows a lot
one
more
of
than
them.
he'll ever let on,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But that's but always an interesting conversation with somebody like that, you know? He's got a lot to offer. He really does.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got on?
What do we got on the national news? What do we got going on here?
It's one up, Kevin.
I thought this was like something about a social media
there you
brand.
go.
That's that small print.
Oh,
Some 20-year-olds wrote this thing.
I know. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God!
I can't see any of that.
Really?
It's the
No, I'm gonna have to
Trump.
start wearing my glasses.
Trump pushes unproven medical advice around Tylenol and vaccines.
So now this
little
is
hothead.
This is the biggest thing we could talk about
well,
this week.
it's just on the list. We blow through it. We're blowing through it. We spent a lot more time with Bill.
Oh, by the way, the Epstein files. We didn't mention that.
No,
Yeah.
no, nobody does anymore.
Oh, hold on. There's a
There's a hint. There's a hinting in there.
Oh,
But okay, again, I'm going to say this. This is all the smoke.
They
and
putting
mirrors, Steve
Viagra in
Bannon
Tylenol?
bullshit. You know what? Go with fucking nutbag RFK.
Right.
Him and Dipstick go on stage. Here's how we're going to distract from Epstein more.
Right.
Let's let these two fuckers talk about fucking Tylenol.
Yeah.
Oh my, anism. What? Well, this
can
is
you put
nice.
Oompa
What's
Loompa on the
this
screen for us,
innocent
Kev? I really want to
it's
see the
all a
difference
show.
between
Yeah.
They can't be
RFK and an
real.
Oompa Loompa.
You can't have the president of the United States and the the nephew of one of the most popular presidents we've ever had.
Yeah.
These people are on the stage, can't pronounce things.
I mean, does that not look like
RFK looks like
RFK?
he's a fucking cyborg. I have no idea what's going on with him.
Put a green wig on him, and there he is, right there.
Yes, that's what he looks like.
Boy, these guys think Tylenol is
But isn't that smoke and mirror shit, dude?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, why else would they go up there and talk about how fucking bad Tylenol is and gives you autism?
well,
Because
That's
they
fucking insane.
No, they said that they were going to have this report on
this is
autism.
chaos.
They said they were going to have this huge
Yes.
report on autism, so that
that's
was
what
their
it
big
was.
report was.
Yes.
Was it's Tylenol.
So RFK.
to rip on Tylenol.
Yeah.
and
RFK. RFK set a hard deadline on. He said we're going to find the cause of autism by
By
the end of
October
September.
1st, yeah.
So he set this hard deadline, and they ran out of time, so they made Tylenol a scapegoat. And what he did, from what I can see, is he really pissed off the anti-vaccine people. Because they were like, oh, I thought the vaccines were
was a
going to get
vaccine.
busted,
but people
but
made
instead
fun-
they shifted to Tylenol.
People made fun of that shit for 3 days. So that's 3 days. No Epstein.
Right. Well, I mean, boy, if they think Tylenol's bad for kids, wait till they
Do
hear
you watch
about
Fox News? Didn't talk about it at all.
Did they hear about Epstein?
Forget it.
Wait till they hear about pedophilia.
Never mind.
Oh my God, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz today or yesterday.
Yeah.
That was not real. That
It's
Ted
every
Cruz
week,
thing.
Steve.
It couldn't have been.
I'm just going to get a
But the
cardboard.
Tylenol made
gonna
such
get
a
a
big
cardboard
stink in the
cutout,
early
and I'll just put it
80s.
here next
You know,
week.
you got to think that
Tylenol
those
murders.
guys remembered
The
about
Tylenol murders.
Yeah, Chicago.
I mean, it was a big thing in the early 80s, and all this fear and all that kind of stuff.
big
And so
time.
bringing that up 40
Poor
years
Tylenol.
later. Poor Tylenol.
Fuck. Normally, I'm not like on corporate America's side, but poor Tylenol.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing people thought back in the 80s, too. It's like, God, who spiked the Tylenol? Oh, it must have been the Bayer people.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't think they ever caught the guy.
It was a Netflix special. I think they did.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Zodiac.
I don't know. Well, there was some guy that
different.
wanted
He
money
was a
for
serial
it, but I
killer in
don't
the
think they
70s
proved
in
it
San
was him.
Francisco.
Yeah, it was just, dude, the special about it's really good. But yeah, I don't really know if they actually caught the guy. But I know there's like a ransom and stuff. There was something weird. A lot of
Remember
shit
when
going
that
on.
was the craziest thing we could think of?
Oh,
Is somebody
dude.
spiked the Tylenol?
I know.
We didn't have
Yeah.
7 mass shootings in the week.
a day?
God damn,
There's
we
been,
had
like-
in the last week we had 2 shootings, one with
So-
an arson.
One in
It's
Michigan
just
and one in North Carolina, both Trump voters. And that's just, I'm not saying that to be a dick at all. I'm saying this is what verified, and they show the pictures of the people because we have technology and social media these days. And I'm not saying anything about it. All I'm saying is Fox News and MAGA-tards, stop saying it's all on the left. Just stop.
Well,
help
why
us
don't
be
we-
Americans.
we didn't say
help us
the-
be Americans and fucking admit when we're wrong and just not blame everybody for one. Because right now, a good 30% of this country thinks Democrats are responsible for fucking everything. I mean, that's kind of insane, you know? I mean, I feel right now I could just put a Trump hat on and go rob a Home Depot and totally get away with it.
Maybe you should
I mean,
try.
why Home Depot?
You're right. I should go after Lowe's.
Let's try that. Let's do that, and let's
Yeah,
go,
maybe
let's
we
go
should.
steal some buzz bombs from the.
I don't know. I'm
Shoplift
just
some
saying.
buzz bombs from the grocery store. From
Now we're
the
talking.
Yeah.
from the.
I'm just
from
saying
the
it's fucking weird.
gas station.
Well,
Isn't it
why
weird?
not?
But the new recommendation is to not take Tylenol. Instead, it's to take folic acid. You know who owns a company that manufactures and sells folic acid? That's the director of the Center of Medicaid and Medicare Services, Dr. Oz.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
It's all part of their
sinister.
plan.
It
It's,
is.
Every,
It's kinda
every
like this-
single thing is
Okay.
coordinated.
It's the
Okay.
same thing as the pharmaceutical stuff. You got the Trump RX thing going on.
I know.
Oh, that
I
even
know.
that
We didn't
totally
even,
that
we didn't
was
even
so
put that in the show.
this week.
That was insane. That's insane. And we bought 5% more into another company, a lithium mining company.
And that-
If the stock
that
went from like
release-
80 some cents to $5.
Can you imagine if Biden did anything like this?
Oh, dude. No.
Anything.
Fuck
Even
no.
talked about doing
No,
it.
I mean, this is all out in the open, crazy stuff.
Right.
I
He
mean,
gave,
it is.
he gave a speech at the Naval Academy graduation, and he tripped over a sandbag, and that was the news.
Yeah.
That was the news, was that
Well,
he tripped over a sandbag.
And not to mention that the scientist behind Trump's Tylenol claim, was paid to give evidence against Tylenol. It was $150,000 in a big federal court case, and the federal judge kind of chewed the guy's ass about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said Dr. Beccarelli downplays those studies that undercut his causation thesis and emphasize those that align with his thesis.
Those
I mean,
words are too big.
Holy
Those
shit.
words are
I mean,
too
it's pretty
big.
basic expert witness testimony stuff in a
way
trial, but I mean, at the very least, this guy's credibility should be undercut.
Well, I remember being sick like
Can't
20
listen for
years
that long.
ago.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Going to the
too much
emergency
information.
room, and the nurse is like, "Your fever is like 10 something." I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was, and she's getting all mad at my wife. Why didn't you give him Tylenol? Get the fever down.
Right.
Get the fever down. And so,
It's a fever
what was the
reducer.
recommendation from the administration for these pregnant women when they got fever?
Right. Like I said, I'm going to be,
Yeah.
if Margaret gets pregnant again, she'll be taking 10 Tylenol a day, and I'm going to create the best Dungeons and Dragons player the world has ever seen.
Yeah, that's right. What's wrong with a little autism?
Right. A little bit
Rain
of the,
Man was a freaking smart
a little
guy.
bit of the tism never hurt anybody.
I
And
had
let's
a,
be
there
honest.
were- I had a childhood friend who died from Rise syndrome,
What is that?
which is when you have the chicken pox. Sometimes to get the fever down, you take Tylenol, and that complicates. I think this is the true story, but it doesn't matter because whatever you say doesn't matter because if somebody says it, it's the truth.
I care, Steve.
So he took Tylenol, chicken pox, Tylenol. Rise syndrome kills kids
Okay.
who take Tylenol when they have the chicken pox.
Okay.
and he died from that.
Okay.
And
so Tylenol is bad.
Well,
right. Jesus, yeah.
In the wrong circumstances, it is bad.
Sure.
So is
with
cocaine,
regards
but
to
in the right circumstances,
there was
it's
nothing
awesome.
about Rise syndrome or chickenpox with
Right.
this. It was all about pregnant women.
Yeah.
And for some reason, well, obviously, there's a lot of obvious reasons why Trump is totally infatuated with women, obsessed about women and women's health, and all of the evidence shows that it's dangerous for women if you have a fever. The risk is having a fever when you're pregnant and not necessarily the drugs you take.
Because it'll cook the little kid.
And yes, and the
that wouldn't be. That's not
as
good.
with every drug, the prescribed, what doctors prescribe is the lowest dose that is manageable to treat the symptom, and that is, I mean, that makes sense. Why is Trump, who has no fucking clue about anything medical, up there talking about things where he thinks he's an authority?
It's all distraction from Epstein. I mean, it's a good point. Absolutely has to be anymore.
We're not talking about that. We're not, and then we're talking.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
RFK and fucking Trump talking. That's 3 days of humor and fucking nutbag shit that we're all talking about because that was so bizarre. Well, all of it is.
That Epstein file must be just huge. I mean, they got the U.S. military going from city to city. Now they're in Portland looking for the Epstein files. They couldn't find them in Baltimore. They weren't in D.C. They weren't in L.A. You know, the military guys are out
some
there
of these liberal
searching.
cities. The liberals are definitely hiding.
Just wait about 20 minutes, Mike. We might be breaking some news here on the podcast. So the Republicans spent a lot of time talking about Tylenol, and then we had the Democrats had, a little bit of a dog and pony show of their own. This was Kamala Harris's alternate reality.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God.
I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but it was...
Yes, I've seen it.
My main thing that I'll say, just to get this off my chest, Ed and I have talked about this before, the Israel thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like she wrote in her book that she thought President Biden's response to Gaza was inadequate. She said, I pleaded with Joe to extend the empathy he showed to the citizens of Ukraine, to the suffering of innocent Gazan civilians. And this is why political tell-all books like this really piss me off, because especially during, her campaign, albeit a short campaign.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, she was full steam ahead on Biden's policy about money to Israel. So essentially what she's saying is...
What would you do differently? Nothing.
Yeah, essentially what she's saying is publicly, I was a coward. But privately, I was very, very brave.
Super brave.
It's like, give me a break.
Super brave.
What a joke.
I know. When as soon as you said Kamala Harris, I started falling asleep. I'm like... I wish she would just go away.
I mean,
I don't want to. I'm not going to listen to anything she says. Nobody in America is going to listen to what she says.
No, I agree with you on that.
It wasn't...
people listen to Hillary Clinton more than they listen to Kamala Harris.
Right.
And which isn't good.
It's
still not good.
Not
good. Because she had the emails.
And we don't have
the emails are coming back into this discussion.
We don't have anybody else.
You have to call me again.
Where the fuck are those
Here we
emails?
are. This is why we don't have any other Democrats to talk about except fucking Kamala Harris and maybe Hillary Clinton still.
That's it. Oh, dude.
It's just like
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Okay.
She also stated she wished Biden would have invited Elon Musk to the White House in 2021.
Jeffries.
And it's like, Kamala, you don't have to you've already lost. Like, you don't need to bring it. You've already lost. You don't have to, grovel to this
If I was her, I would just fucking go away and live a super rich life.
But this is exactly why when they asked Bernie Sanders, they said, will the Democrats lose? Will they learn anything from this 2024 loss? And he said, probably not.
No, absolutely not.
I think that's a fair and honest statement.
I think so, too.
It is.
Without a doubt.
The consulting class is going to keep getting paid. They're going to do different polling. They're going to have different forum groups, and they're going to come up with the same solution, which is
exactly
the fucking playbook, Mike. It's so fucking nuts. I mean, you don't like.
Did anybody stand up after this Tuesday meeting with the generals?
No, fuck no.
When Donald Trump said that there is an enemy within the United States, and it's anybody who disagrees with me, was there one Democrat that stood up and said, this is a clear violation?
Why bother? You know why? Because the vice president.
Why bother? Because this is an attack on our democracy.
Rubio is going to say he was joking. He's just making fun. Steve, that's what they do. That's all they do. That's what they do every time. Oh, it was just fun. Hakeem having a sombrero on Hakeem Jeffries, that was funny.
Right.
I admit it was funny. It's fucking retarded to come from the president of the United States, but, it's something they're going to write it off and laugh it off. They're going to win every one of these battles.
To try to answer
But don't you think that
think.
some moderately focused people want to hear somebody say, God damn it, wait a minute, wait a fucking minute.
I don't think so.
You can't fucking do this.
I don't think so. Because they're going to say he was
We have a 5-alarm fire going on in our
mean it.
democracy. This is not okay. This is not politics as normal. This is bullshit.
It's normal
and
now.
somebody needs to come up and say it.
Well, I think people are saying it. That's you're getting the Platner guy saying it. You're getting the Lombardi guy saying it. Tariffs saying
He's
it.
a good guy.
They're not getting it. But that's the future. We might not like the future, but that's the younger generation coming up. They're being very articulate. They're very outspoken, and they're talking about things that matter. The corporate media is not going to put it on the news. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
They're going to have to fly under the radar, but people are talking about it. They're just not getting the traction.
Yeah, they're not.
Why isn't the Democratic Party blasting it from every fucking piece of
I don't think they have them. They don't have the funds.
Network.
They don't have the money.
Wherever they can put it out there, why are they not doing it?
The Democratic Party is not going to save you. Yeah. They are just not going to.
They don't have the money to do it.
People are leaving both the Republican and the Democratic Party in droves. They're becoming independents again. Yes, they're going to flock to their parties at the end when it's time to vote, but they are going to be independent-minded for the next year.
I wrote a Democratic 2028 slogan for you, Steve. Democrats 2028 slogan. We hate ourselves and our voters. That's a pretty good one.
That makes sense.
Well, so she also
I'll buy that bumper sticker.
She also called Trump a communist. She said Trump is behaving as a communist dictator, which I find to be hilarious. So Kamala is either very stupid or she thinks that her voters are very stupid.
They all think their voters are stupid.
Right.
They all do that.
Right. And like you were just, screaming in my ear about, we now have a situation in the United States where both sides are accusing each other of being communists somehow. Well, right. Meanwhile, regular people fight in the street over meat. But don't worry. Fortunately, there's only...
That sounds communist to me.
Yeah, don't worry. Fortunately, there's only 3 more years of rapidly escalating fascism before a peaceful transition of power.
Maybe that's why they're both calling each other communists. Because they both have the power. Even. They both have been leading this country, 13 and we're fighting over meat in the streets right now.
And they get paid really, really well.
They get paid
$174,000, permanent retirement, good health care, and they only got to work a third of the time. They're on vacation again. They shut down government, but then they still get paid.
And they get sweet stock tips. They get all the perks.
And I guess the last thing I'll say about Kamala Harris before we move on to the bailout stuff is imagine being handed the nomination to the Democratic Party for president without any primary, without any caucus, and then still having the balls to write a book about how unfairly you were treated. I think that's what doesn't sit well with me. Where it's like you were getting no primary, you didn't have to campaign, you didn't have to put any policies forward.
The coronation wasn't good enough.
Just given to you, but yet you were treated unfairly.
I mean,
but you had all the right positions behind the scenes, even though public facing.
And she wasn't setting herself up for that job. No. I don't think she really thought about that job.
I don't think she
was
very
a token
good
candidate. She wasn't. Yeah. But they needed a black woman. The liberals and Democrats needed a black woman. She fit the bill because she would have never said. Listen, if she thought she was going to be president someday, she would have never said, "I would pay for prisoners to have sex change operations." Yeah. If she was grooming herself for presidency. She would have never, ever said that. She would have known better. People know better than that.
That's why primaries are good.
Exactly. Exactly. What better proof do you need of that? Because, 2 weeks ago before the election, that comes out.
Right.
That's genius. The Republicans are way fucking smarter when it comes to that shit. They just know what to do. I mean.
Well, they know what people don't like. They know what people don't like.
I guess that.
And they're willing.
Are we done talking about Kamala?
Yeah, we can move on to the farmer bailout, Argentina bailout.
Dude.
It is always nice though to see what the Dems are doing nationally every now and then. It's
the fact
still
that nobody's
morons.
saying anything,
cool,
I can't believe that nobody is shouting it from the fucking rooftops.
No, and I don't.
They're just like, oh, let's pass another.
I don't watch a lot of liberal media, so I don't know if that's.
Let's introduce another bill.
I think a lot of it's because they're scared of getting the pig pen. You know what happens when you get the pig pen? You get that crap all over you, and you get dirty. And, one team doesn't mind getting dirty, and the other guy's like, I got to look good still.
Yeah.
So this was another story that really, pissed me off this week was we're going to give $20 billion to Argentina.
That's a bailout.
We can't forgive any student loans in this country, but we can prop up Argentina. Remember, kids, if you borrow money to go to college, you assume that risk, okay?
Yes.
And if you're a farmer who borrows money for crops and your president starts a stupid tariff war, you'll be bailed out, no questions asked. So remember that, kids.
And the bailout's coming for Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Dakota. It's all coming. They already talked. It's coming. They're begging for it. But here's the sad thing.
And the Democrats in the Senate won't stop it because they can't. They can't vote against their farm.
And you have to.
Rural base.
I'm sorry, you have to. Because these are hundreds of thousands of jobs. And which is really horrible is that they're detaining a lot of these employees, so it's making it tough on everybody. The stress level of middle America, really, it's a big deal. Government shuts down. The tariff war. China's not buying your soy. So now you got all these employees. Nobody's making money until they get these subsidies. And these subsidies are going to Jolly Green Giant, not Jim Bob cousin fucker dude that just picks corn.
Not Joe Jolly.
No, I mean, and this is just annihilating the middle to lower class. I mean, it's annihilating them.
Oh yeah, small farmers.
They're getting annihilated. Like the bailouts, people have to remember, are going to the corporations that control most of it, and it's a very competitive deal to get these bailouts. Just like it is anything the government ever puts out like that. You can't. They just don't give it to you. You're applying. And you have lawyers applying, and you got people fighting for that money. Is fucking, it's a nutso world. Yeah. But I don't know if these people are going to keep voting for Trump.
Why are we bailing out the corporations? They have.
Well, because people don't know that.
They have plenty of fucking padding.
Because Lindsey Graham has come up and said we're going to help the farmers. We're helping the farmers.
You mean Madame Graham?
Madame Graham.
And why are we helping the Argentina
American farmers? We let the farm bill expire. That expired last month. That means the crop insurance protection that farmers had expires. And so that's what's going on. And Congress is shut down. They're arguing about whether they can keep the doors open. They're not necessarily going to be doing the bailout.
Why would these rural senators be saying anything about this? Saying, hey, we're doing all these tariffs. They're not going to buy our shit. We're losing our insurance. What the fuck?
All the rural senators are Republican. Let's be honest.
Oh, they're all. We were just talking about that before.
They're all Republicans. This is all on them.
There is not a rural.
I got to think that some of these Democrats in Congress, they're like, I am not giving these assholes one single vote.
No.
They are destroying the country. They're breaking the law left and right. If they want to pass some of this stuff, they're going to have to do it without my vote.
And why aren't the Democrats saying that shit? Nobody is standing up and saying that.
Well, Steve, you said, why aren't people pissed? That this
Steve, why don't you stand up and do it?
I'm not a senator from a rural state.
You said this. Why aren't people saying they're upset about this new government bailout? Well, I would submit to you that it's even worse than that, because we're bailing out these farmers because of this inane tariff policy. So you and we get to pay twice. We get to pay for the tariff at the store, and then we get to pay for the bailout money. So we get to pay twice.
Well,
we so lucky American.
We're not going to have to, because the debt's just going to go to 60 billion or 60 trillion instead of 30 trillion.
But fuck you and your Pepsi.
Yes, exactly. So Ed, this was interesting. Right on this on this theme, the bailout theme. No, I've got more on this bailout. So I'm not done yet.
Man,
this is like bailing out the banks,
So this is a buzzword alert here. Buzzword alert.
Is this
Trump said he was
trigger alert?
Trump said he was going to take the tariff revenue
Trigger alert.
and redistribute it to the farmers. Redistribute. This sounds a lot like socialism.
Kind of does. Redistributing.
I think
that's redistributing.
That's got to get that boot for using that word.
Couple this with the demanding.
Now these farmers don't like socialism.
Right. So couple that.
They don't want redistributed wealth.
The
at
redistribution of the tariffs with demanding that the government get ownership of NVIDIA and Intel. And I'd say we're looking at the best socialist president we've ever had.
Without a doubt.
Right?
Well, he just bought into that lithium mining machine company.
He's the best. This is what Marx wrote about.
Well, we're moving more towards the fascust side.
That's what he dreamed about.
Fix your eyes on our revolution, comrade.
We're moving.
We will never falter.
We're moving more towards the fascist side, where it's all in the name of your country,
right?
Yes.
And your supreme
nationalism
leader.
is important. It's in these days.
That's where fascism really
nationalism's in with the young kids.
But I think
days.
to Steve's point, if there's anything that should spark a democratic revolution in this country, it's a $20 billion bailout to Argentina.
When they go right behind your back and start selling all their soybeans to China.
Our tax money bailing out some country that's competing against us with soybeans because their president.
You're saying don't cry for me, Argentina.
Their moron president decided to do their economic plan from Reddit.
Yeah. I mean, these poor farmers, American trade policy really hosed them.
Fuck yeah.
Big time.
Yes.
And so if the government's going to send them stimmy, great, take it. I would take it. If the government send me a check for $1,000 because they messed up my trade deals, great.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to take the money, just like every farmer
you
across
think
the
they'd be
nation.
better negotiators, but they're not.
But they don't want that. What they want to do is they want to sell their soybeans that they're growing outside big sandy areas in Montana. They want to actually
the highest
sell
bidder.
those because they're good quality crops. They don't want to see them wasted or ruined. They want to see them make money on it.
But
just like their parents made money on selling those
Well, when we made it a global
Somebody
economy,
needs to get out there and talk to them about it.
When we created this global economy, and it was us, predominantly America, that meant farming. That didn't mean just cars and TVs, electronics and things. That's farming. It's a global market. Now we're trying to shrink that in, rein that in. Are you crazy? We only got 350 million people here. There's billions of customers everywhere.
100 million trans.
Billions. Yeah. There's 100 million. Okay, now I got a problem with that.
We loved farming so much in this country. We wiped out all of the native people of this country and tried to teach them farming. That's how much we love farming in this country.
We love
it. That is
God bless America.
And for whatever that's worth, I don't know. But we cannot sit here and say that Democrats shouldn't be out there talking to people and saying, do you want a handout from the government? Do you
I didn't say that.
like getting a check to burn your fields?
Well,
is that what you
good
do?
at farming, we had to start CRP. We had to pay farmers to stop doing some crops.
Yes.
Because we're so efficient at it.
Right.
Okay.
Is that what American individualism is all about? Is that why you want to continue the family farm?
I don't know, how does this happen in this day and age?
It sounds a lot like what we did to the Native Americans.
I'll tell you how it happens.
Better at everything.
And to answer your question, Steve, I think a very important part here that a lot of people forget is we aren't bailing out farmers who suffered some sort of natural disaster, like a flood or a swarm of locasts or something like that.
This is not crop
direct result of our government.
They can't sell their crops because of one man and his tariffs. And he can pay the farmers with his crypto earnings, for all I give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's one guy.
He won't do that.
That's the reason.
He'll do that from our tax dollars.
And it's and you're right. It should piss people off because it's Medicare for all. Nope. Socialism. Social Security. Socialism. Right. Debt-free healthcare. Socialism. Death-free education. Socialism. Bailing out some failed libertarian austerity government in Argentina.
Perfect.
Well, that's just the way it is. You see, the fickleness of the market, it's very complex, and the government needs, I've heard it a million times.
Subsidies for gas and oil.
Farm bailout.
Yeah.
No, that's not socialism.
I think ExxonMobil needs an extra $13 billion from our federal government just so we have gas and our cars can drive.
Those guys work hard.
They work very hard. They really do.
Every day they go to work.
When their profits double in a quarter.
Yeah, they need that money.
They need that profit.
They're hardworking
because
Americans.
they're reinvesting that in.
And now that is
all
not socialism. That is helping the higher class there create more jobs.
Well, but Ed, don't you think that this whole bailout to Argentina and this, specifically, I know we're bailing out the farmers too, but this whole bailout to Argentina, isn't this just a devastating indictment on Trump's America First policies, on Javier Milei's policies? He's the guy in Argentina. His whole thing was to drastically reduce government spending.
Right.
But this is typical governing from the GOP. We'll bail out our conservative buddies when their ideas fail, but we want to cut health care and food stamps for poor Americans.
Right.
Right?
Well, because
and I
you
guess the
shouldn't
next
be poor.
time that any Republican takes
America first doesn't mean Americans first.
but the fact
it means oligarchs
but
first.
the fact of the matter is, the next time any Republican takes responsibility for this will be the next time they pass a balanced budget, which is fucking
It's never going to happen.
So-
That will never happen. It's never going to happen.
And you're right, Steve. If the Democrats had any leaders, they should be all over this. This shit is a slam dunk.
You would think
is
so.
a
I
slam
mean, if a
dunk.
bunch of podcasters can talk
Right.
about it, you think these guys can pay?
Hamburger meat is $6.80 a
guys-
motherfucking pound.
Do you guys
I
remember?
love
Yeah.
hamburgers.
Do you guys remember how effectively the Republicans demonized the U.S. aid to Ukraine?
Yeah.
Coming up to the Biden election,
yeah.
I mean, this should be a slam dunk.
Why are we paying Ukraine to fight against Russia?
Well,
They're too busy.
why are tax dollars going to Ukraine?
They're too busy cooking up ways to, hamstring Mom Dami in New York City.
Call me crazy.
Well, they have to poll it. Come on, let's give them some.
Yeah,
they got to do their polls. They got to hire
the
the
right
different
consultants.
consultants.
Yeah,
It's
they
got to
do.
go to the forum
Can't
and then
come
do
out.
the
We can't-
committees.
we can't come out
And so,
angry.
by
Working-
then the news cycle has
Yeah.
changed, so you have to start the polling all over again. And
You're
then have to
right,
go to
'cause
the
time
next
does go
committee
by.
meeting.
Working class
People do
Americans,
change.
Working class Americans go to Walmart and they have to pay an extra tax through the tariffs on the goods they buy. And then that tax revenue is sent to Argentina. It should be a slam dunk.
That
If
makes
they
sense.
talked about it the way they talked about the bank bailouts, it'd be polling at under 10%.
Dude, they're just okay. They're counting on, I think,
Well,
in a
they
way,
don't-
they're
they don't
counting on
wanna
saving
be
a buck
mean,
and
though.
thinking Trump's he's going to destroy himself. They thought this
Yeah,
before.
I think he's doing a pretty good job of that.
No, he's not. He's not destroying himself though.
He will be.
I mean, he should have last time.
He's not because he
J6
has the
didn't
Supreme Court
matter,
in his
you
back
know?
pocket.
But
Supreme Court
I'm
is in
just
his
telling
back
you, I
pocket.
think
That is
the
the
Democrats just think, oh, of course, that's a great thing for him. But I mean, he's got everything in his back pocket. He does have nobody fighting back with him. He can say the most ridiculous things. I mean, this Epstein thing, it's got a lot of people would obviously get into a lot of trouble. And as Americans, we're just passive about it. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. And it's because of all the shit getting thrown at us. We have too much getting thrown
But
at us.
I guess
it's too much. Like
To
I
be
said,
honest with you, I am less worried about Jeffrey Epstein and who Trump diddled. And
Them
how
losing
old
our
they were.
democracy?
Boy,
Not
Steve-
that
Well,
it's,
that's
not that it's an
selfish,
okay
Steve.
thing.
Steve comes out pro
But-
pedophilia. on that.
Pedophilia, Steve.
Ted
That's what his
Cruz is
nickname
I
is
am
now.
less worried about that than Trump telling all of the generals, all 800 of the highest ranking generals and admirals
Yes.
in our military,
crazy
that there is an
shit.
enemy within. I am less worried about Jeffrey Epstein than I am
So
about
you're
that.
pro-pedo.
Yeah, if you want to,
Whoa.
if you want to spin it that way, you can. You can spin it that way, but
Try.
I am honestly less worried about that than
Yeah.
I am about him
Yeah, it's-
talking,
it's a weird
telling
deal.
the military that they should go into cities and practice military.
I think I'm comfortable saying both
Routines.
things are equally bad.
Well, I am too.
Rather not see either. I don't want to
But
make a choice.
Ed and I have talked about
In
this
terms
before.
of the Constitution,
Yeah.
which one is more against the Constitution?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't
And-
see anything. I did not see anything against pedophilia in the Constitution.
Yeah, that's a good
So-
point.
So,
But
yeah,
Ed and I
you're
have
right.
talked to this before. The Democrats do have a leader, right? You remember the famous song?
Yeah, what?
Satan laughing spreads
It's
his wings.
wings.
Oh, Jack!
Ozzy Osbourne?
Black Sabbath, but whatever. Yeah. What is Black Sabbath without Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah, I know.
not-
He's
it's not.
R.I.P. Ozzy.
Okay, my blood pressure's going up. We got to move
It
on.
is.
we
Yes.
gotta move on.
Stop talking
Yeah.
about that. We gotta get.
Driving me
Okay.
nuts.
Sorry, I
We must
shouted
be at
too much.
45 minutes
Yeah.
by
It's
now.
bedtime.
The GOP
12. Holy
DEI
Jesus Christ.
the GOP DEI hiring frenzy. This is very interesting. So we've got Trump picked a new U.S. attorney. So Jesse Laslovich was fired.
Yeah, yep.
You know, we heard his resume about a half hour ago.
Yep.
He was fired, but this new woman they brought in Virginia,
Did he have blonde hair?
Dude,
Jesse
this is-
has no hair.
No, he is not.
Well,
You know what the thing about this
Wishes
chick?
he had blonde hair.
Not only does she not have any experience in prosecuting anybody, she's pretty hot. So
Well,
she fits the Trump bill.
She has zero experience as a prosecutor.
zero experience.
She worked on
prosecute sounds a lot
Yeah.
like another word.
She worked on a handful of insurance cases, but she
a hand
was
job for Trump. Is that what? No.
she was a former Miss Colorado finalist.
Yeah, yeah. She's
Merit is back,
hot. Like
baby.
I said, she's hot, man. That is not DEI.
Yeah, and the other one that they hired was what do they call her? Barbie Ice, Christy Nome.
Yes.
How did they?
The one that kills all the dogs.
My question though is like, what grand jury is out there that one guy is saying this grand jury will never come up with an indictment against James Comey, and then this other woman comes in with no experience, and in 2 days comes up with an indictment of James Comey.
I don't tell me you trust your government now.
I don't quite understand how those two things add up.
Propedo.
Well, and then they hired this other girl, Madison.
Ted Cruz is the ultimate propedo.
Madison Sheehan takes on a new role at ICE, so she has no experience in law enforcement.
No,
at
this
all.
is fucking insane.
Well, she did. She could have arrested people in the forest.
She could have arrested a fish.
In LSU.
Some fish get pretty out of hand.
Fisheries. I mean,
but she had a.
They carry weapons in the forest.
She had a fantastic.
Park rangers carry weapons.
She had a fantastic response when they asked her if she was qualified to do this kind of work. She said, "Now remember, she's 28 years old, no experience in law enforcement,
but she's hot, I'm sure."
She said,
"Damn,
she's a handsome woman."
Okay.
She said, "I absolutely think I'm qualified for the job because at the end of the day, what really makes anyone qualified for any job?" I mean, that is just, especially when these people didn't shut the fuck up about DEI for about 9 months.
God.
So good. What makes hey, come on. What makes you qualified to wash dishes at the tap house?
Well, it's another diversion.
I mean, we need to
this
dig
is
in.
satire,
What's
right?
with all these questions?
We're supposed to say when it's satire.
Yeah, right. What's with all these questions?
Think about the people that are signing up to be ICE and the tens of thousands of them now. These are the people.
You don't even have to be ICE. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. All you got to do is wear a mask. You and your buddies wear a mask and drive around.
Throw a brown guy down.
You don't have to be in a marked car. You just walk around. You don't even have to have the. You don't even have to go to Amazon and buy the chest thing.
But you can though,
you
right?
Just walk around.
I want the tactical.
Just go to the fucking the playground and see what brown people are there, and you can round them up.
I walk around with tactical gear on. I think those people look cool.
And meanwhile, I saw that the president of Nintendo just retired, and a woman named Devin Pritchard took over, and I saw right-wingers were online losing their minds, and they were saying things like, "Nintendo is fucked now, isn't it?" So, a couple questions.
She's probably not even a gamer.
So, couple questions I have is, one, don't you people
she
work?
Had to be saved from
Like,
Mario.
my God, don't you people do anything with your time? And two, I did some cursory research. She's been at Nintendo for over 20 years.
So she is a gamer.
She was there a decade longer than the guy that just retired.
Wow.
And
she
you're
probably
surprised?
played Pong back in the day.
This is all nonsense.
You're surprised that people are up in arms about that?
Steve crows and crows about people not saying anything, calling people out. And then when you do, he goes,
not a big deal to me. Propedo.
What a fucking joke.
You and Ted Cruz.
Anyway,
was she ever saved? Was she the one who was the model for being saved by Mario and the original Donkey
Princess
Kong?
Peach.
That wasn't real that we all saw on the internet today.
About Ted Cruz?
Oh, yeah. No, he said that.
No, for real.
He did say that.
Yeah, stop attacking the pedos.
That was not
100%. Okay.
Well, he didn't.
I thought that was AI.
He didn't know what he was saying.
Okay.
He messed up.
He was using the word attacking as an adjective. Unfortunately, people in the United States, especially people on the left, really don't know their
some of that
language.
Harvard talk.
Look at that.
I know.
He was tired.
Elitist Harvard elitist.
They have rounded up attacking pedophiles.
So, okay,
we have
guys.
to stop
All right, guys.
attacking pedophiles.
I need you to give me a little bit
not
of...
stop attacking pedophiles.
I need you to give me a little bit here, like 20 seconds, okay? This is
it's
the
actually
last...
a gerund, not an adjective.
This is the last topic, the files.
We're going to get out of here
right.
before an hour 30.
So, as we all know...
From now.
There's an issue out there that's kind of sort of been haunting American politics for a few years now. It seems to implicate leaders of both parties, much of the banking industry, tech, the entertainment elite. It's an issue that everyone's been asking about. Everyone seems to be saying, release the files. Guys, he's going to do it. Trump is going to release the files. And folks, I'm telling you, he made the announcement just a couple days ago. We're getting the files. This is from the Associated Press. President Trump announced Friday that he has ordered the declassification and public release of all government records about aviator Amelia Earhart.
Yes.
Thank fucking goodness.
About time.
They're releasing the files. How funny would it be if they turned out she was a pedophile? I mean, what was she doing flying in that plane?
Yeah, what's going on? Giving kids free rides.
She was kind of masculine. Are you sure she was even a woman?
A lot of islands.
She's flying to a lot of islands.
What was the other? The other
Trump's gonna say she's no angel. She's bad. She's a bad woman.
She's a bad BVI, didn't they?
She's no angel. He said they're gonna make everything public that they have on her, and it's like, what are we missing? Her shoe size, her blood type? Like, good lord.
She's one nasty bitch.
Just another
nasty woman. Excuse me. Sorry, you didn't say nasty bitch. You said nasty woman.
Steve Quinnell just
one
said nasty bitch.
woman.
Right, and they kind of covered all this when I was in grade school. It was like, yeah, the ocean's very big, and she fucking crashed into it.
I know. How the fuck you gonna find it?
You know?
I don't know.
It's not like it was a fucking 747 from Malaysia. Oh, they lost one of them too.
You ever watch Exhibition Unknown? They found her.
It is also very funny
really?
that when
they found Amelia Earhart.
They found part of her plane on one island, some
Oh,
island.
then why is it?
Wait,
then
they
why is
broke
there
the classified files?
Why are there government
Expedition
files?
Unknown? It's you got to watch
that's
that
what I'm
show.
saying.
Distraction
That's
alert.
one of the-
It is very
Distraction
funny.
alert.
You know, it is very funny.
Yeah.
I was thinking about in grade school.
He's kind of a tool.
They're coming up with the curriculum for Women's History Month, and they're like, all right, we need the most important women in history. Okay, how about some lady who was so bad at flying that we never found her? She was the best woman pilot we ever had, and she's just gone forever without a trace. Bon voyage, ladies. We like to joke here.
So we released those files. What was the other files we released? There's been
I
several files that have been released.
I will tell you
right?
this.
A lot has been
JFK files, right?
If I ever get on a plane-
Martian ones or whatever UFO stuff has been
Martin
released.
Luther King
I mean,
files.
I imagine Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine we've got a couple hundred years of files. So as long as we keep doing this, and Epstein will just go
Were these the
away.
files from Biden's
I'll tell you
garage?
this, though.
Biden's garage is
the
full
garage.
of files.
Yeah.
You know, it's another thing you don't hear of. You know, Trump had all those files. You know what I mean? Like, and Biden did, and you know, I'm sure Bolton did. But like, they raided Bolton's house. That was in the news cycle for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's gone.
Completely fucking gone. I don't know why. I find it very.
The Epstein files.
There's nothing.
I mean,
I might have.
because the files that he had were the Epstein
But
files.
it's like Amelia.
That's it. John Bolton found dead in his room.
Here's what I'm going to say. If I got on a plane and the pilot looked like Amelia Earhart, I might wonder how she got her job.
Oh boy, Steve.
I wouldn't really trust that plane.
Steve's
probably.
pro pedophilia, and now he's anti-woman pilot tonight.
You think that was a
By the way,
two-seater?
it is. I'll just say the last word, and then it's
strikes again.
time to go before Mike's before the pumpkin.
He's got 4 minutes.
Before Mike's car turns into a pumpkin. Happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month, everybody.
Right.
I love titties.
My ex-wife is a breast cancer survivor.
Nice.
I'm glad she's healthy now, and it's quite a month to be thinking about women.
Titties are important,
and what they are
So
going through.
it is. You know, Amelia Earhart is important, but it's like, you know, it would have been interesting. He could have done someone like D.B. Cooper.
Right.
You know, I've been like, he's
D.B.
gone.
Cooper.
He's like
Where is
Bigfoot.
he?
We don't know where he went.
We know where he is.
People
Yes,
are saying
we
he
do.
is Bigfoot. He might be in cahoots with him. We don't
Do
know.
we
We're
know
going to
where
find
he
out
is?
very soon.
Money too, right?
D.B. Cooper,
We're going to
dude.
find
That's-
out very soon what happened to DB.
Yeah, I don't.
He's a nasty man.
There's probably files on that.
Right.
I mean,
Where'd
come
he
on,
go?
that was too crazy.
Who's getting released next? I mean, really.
Yeah, what is gonna happen
All the
next?
personalities
Something
out
so
there.
banal that like no one really gives a
Some
shit
mine
about
accident
anymore.
somewhere or
Right.
something?
No, what's another
Spanish
big
and American
conspiracy
War
theory?
stuff.
Helen Keller, probably.
Oh, hell
In the
no.
same
Some
vein.
Area
we've already-
51 stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd
Area
be-
51.
They've kind of released
That's
all that
true.
stuff, and people are just like, "Nah, we don't care anymore."
Yeah, what happened to that thing flying through
Yeah,
the
they
fucking
just don't care
space where a missile bounced right off of it?
Yeah,
That's not in the news either anymore.
Nobody.
That was real.
Yeah, nobody knew what
Yeah.
the fuck that was. Like, did
Right.
you watch it? It was like me playing.
But a
video
Warhawk
games in
missile
the 80s.
blows up
Yeah,
everything
fuck.
it touches. This is what they say. A Warhawk missile has blown up everything it has ever touched. Nothing has ever survived it or came close. It bounces off whatever the fuck this was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay, I'm not. I'm not
All
saying.
right. You
I'm
know
crazy.
what? My last words are fuck fascism, and we are not going to allow this to happen in our country.
Oh yeah, we are. We definitely are.
My last words are: the White House recently tweeted, "Without borders, law and order, and religion, you don't have a country." I was laughing thinking about the conservative John Lennon. Without borders, law and order, religion, you don't have a country to. Imagine all the MAGA.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What are we to do?
Yeah. Killing liberals in peace.
Is that it? we done?
We're timed out.
An hour and a half.